A young man, easily swayed, drawn into the shadows of history. A man, not a leader, but a follower. And that choice sealed his fate. On the night Lincoln was struck down, Herold guided the assassin's path and fled into the darkness. For days, he stood by John Wilkes Booth, helping him escape a nation in chaos. But when the fire closed in, Herold surrendered only to face justice on the gallows. This is the haunting story of a man consumed by loyalty and remembered only for his role in America's greatest tragedy. Real crimes are more terrifying than any ghost story. They are born from the darkest corners of the human mind, where greed, rage, and obsession twist into acts beyond imagination. In this channel, we dive deep into these chilling true events, unmasking the truth that hides in the shadows. If you have a passion for real crime stories, subscribe and join our growing community. Don't forget to click the bell button for more real-life crime stories. David Edgar Herold was born on June 1842 in Maryland. He came from a large family and was raised in relative comfort, receiving a decent education for the time. Herold attended several schools, including Georgetown College, but never excelled academically. Friends and acquaintances described him as impressionable and easily influenced. These traits would later make him vulnerable to manipulation by more dangerous figures. As a young man, Herold worked as a pharmacist's assistant, gaining experience in the medical field. This job gave him knowledge of drugs and poisons, which made him valuable to certain circles. Despite this, he was not ambitious or particularly skilled in any trade. Instead, he preferred to follow others and take orders rather than make decisions. His passivity would prove deadly in the years to come. Herold's life took a dark turn when he was drawn into Confederate sympathizer groups during the American Civil War. Like many young men in Maryland, he had divided loyalties between North and South. Although he did not serve as a soldier, he sympathized with the Confederacy's cause. This led him to connect with secret circles plotting against the Union. Through these connections, he eventually met John Wilkes Booth. Booth was a charismatic actor and Confederate sympathizer who envisioned a daring plot against the Union leadership. To Herold, Booth seemed larger than life, a man destined for greatness. Captivated by Booth's charm and fiery rhetoric, Herold quickly became one of his most loyal followers. He did not question Booth's plans, but instead followed along eagerly. Booth's ability to command obedience made Herold a devoted accomplice. In 1865, Booth devised a plan to strike at the heart of the Union by assassinating its leaders. President Abraham Lincoln was his primary target, but the conspiracy extended further. The group also plotted to kill Vice President Andrew Johnson and Secretary of State William H. Seward. Booth assigned Herold to assist Lewis Powell in attacking Seward. Though nervous, Herold agreed to carry out the orders. In 1865, Booth devised a plan to strike at the heart of the Union by assassinating its leaders. President Abraham Lincoln was his primary target, but the conspiracy extended further. The group also plotted to kill Vice President Andrew Johnson and Secretary of State William H. Seward. Booth assigned Herold to assist Lewis Powell in attacking Seward. Though nervous, Herold agreed to carry out the orders. On the night of April 14, 1865, the conspirators set their plan into motion. While Booth made his way to Ford's Theater to strike at Lincoln, Herold guided Powell to the Seward residence. Powell brutally attacked the bedridden Secretary of State with a knife, while Herold waited outside with the horses, terrified by the violence inside. Herold abandoned Powell and fled into the night. His role was cowardly, but it made him complicit in the attempted assassination. Meanwhile, Booth successfully shot President Lincoln at Ford's Theater, plunging the nation into chaos. As news spread of the multiple attacks, panic gripped Washington. D.C. Booth fled the city with Herold by his side. Together, they began a desperate escape through Maryland, seeking refuge with Confederate sympathizers. Herold's knowledge of the countryside made him a useful guide. For days, Booth and Herold evaded Union troops. They crossed rivers, hid in forests, and relied on loyal Southern families for food and shelter. Despite Booth's injury from his escape, Herold remained at his side. He served as caretaker, helping the wounded assassin stay alive. In Booth's mind, Herold was a trusted companion in his final days. Their flight ended at Richard Garrett's farm in Virginia. Union soldiers quickly surrounded the property after learning of Booth's location. On April 26, 1865, Booth and Herold found themselves cornered inside a tobacco barn. Soldiers demanded their surrender, but Booth refused to come out alive. The barn was set ablaze, sealing their fate. Herold, unlike Booth, chose to surrender. As flames consumed the barn, Booth, however, was shot and fatally wounded during the standoff. He rushed outside and gave himself up to Union forces. Herold's capture ensured that he would face trial for his role in the conspiracy. His decision to live meant answering for his actions in a court of law. Brought back to Washington, Herold faced trial alongside other conspirators. The proceedings were highly publicized as the nation demanded justice for Lincoln's assassination. Herold's defense argued that he was weak-willed and simply followed Booth out of fear. They painted him as a follower rather than a mastermind. Yet the prosecution emphasized his direct involvement in aiding Booth and Powell. The trial revealed Herold's deep complicity in the plot. Witnesses testified to his loyalty to Booth and his presence at key moments. The court dismissed claims that he acted out of fear, noting his repeated decisions to assist. His youthful demeanor did not earn him sympathy from the public. The nation wanted retribution, and Herold was a convenient target. On July 7, 1865, David Edgar Herold was executed by hanging at the Washington Arsenal. He died alongside fellow conspirators Louis Powell, George Atzerodt, and Mary Sorrett. A large crowd gathered to witness the event, a grim spectacle of justice. Herold was only 23 years old at the time of his death. His life ended as a follower consumed by the ambitions of others. Herold's story remains a cautionary tale of weakness and misplaced loyalty. Though not the mastermind, his willingness to follow Booth cost him his life. History remembers him as a minor player in one of America's darkest chapters. His execution closed the door on the immediate aftermath of Lincoln's assassination. Yet his role ensured his name would forever be linked to treachery and tragedy.